Outlet Liquor is your place to buy a case. Stock up and save when you shop the lowest prices available every day at Outlet Liquor. You never have to wait for a sale. The more you buy, the more you save. Only at Outlet Liquor.
What's your outlet?
Folks, happy Championship Monday here at Trainwreck Sports. Welcome to Trainwreck Tonight, episode 240. We are breaking down everything tonight. Tonight's show sponsor, Outlet Liquor, New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet? We are over 8,000 votes in of Josh Allen versus Rick Degenerate. We're going to have an update for you there. We're going to be talking Masters and opening day this past weekend. We got NBA playoffs starting this week and the NFL draft 2.5 weeks away. Let's go. Folks, happy Championship Monday. Like I already said, I'm your host, Degenerate. We got DJ Supreme. We got Maniac in the building. And we are talking 2022 Buffalo Bracket Championship. What a start to today, DJ Supreme.
Unbelievable. I mean, you're talking, you said it right off the jump, over 8,000 votes cast, our biggest poll ever in Buffalo Bracket history. You got the 1 seed Josh Allen going up against the 2 seed RJ. You have, a legendary career up against a bright future. Bills Mafia versus Sabres, Twitter. You have someone who looks good in shorts versus someone who's scary good. Maniac, it's been an unreal matchup out of the gates. And before we get into the matchup itself, we'll come to you with a live update, folks. Wanted to get your take on how we got to this point. I mean, because this is it. In the words of Al, this is it for the Buffalo Bracket and our biggest championship ever.
Yeah, with no better pun, it's the final countdown here in the Trainwreck Buffalo Bracket 2022. Two things stick out to me. First, both of these entities have just cut through the bracket like a hot knife through butter. There was almost no resistance for any of them. Even the drive-in, which had basically won, 9-10 straight matchups at that point, just straight bowed down to RJ. So nice to see there. And then the other thing that sticks out to me is that everyone's acting like it's over already. RJ is like 500 votes behind. We still have basically 3/4 left in this thing, but everybody's acting like a 56-44 margin is scary good. No, it can be overcome, and RJ's still in this thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like you just said, Maniac, we got 1 day and 17 hours left. So this is not the traditional poll, DJ Supreme, where typically it's 24 hours. The championship, we like to give a full 48. And yeah, DJ Supreme, our Rick Degenerate is not out of this just yet.
No, not at all. I mean, as you said, 1 day, 17 hours left. Anything could happen. That's why we make the championship polls 2 days long instead of one for the rest. But Josh out to a strong start. I was kind of surprised to see if it's Maniac had said it, still at 56-44 Josh right now. I guess the power of Bills Mafia on Twitter, is unparalleled. So not a huge surprise in that sense. But I guess what was shocking, Maniac, was the fact that you saw out of the many, many quote tweets and comments that we've had come in, a lot of people are rallying support for RJ. And Rick is fallen, to what do you say, about a 500, 600 vote deficit out of the gates. I don't know. Who do you think? I mean, do we need the Buffalo Sabres Twitter themselves to chime in on this to get him back into contention, and tie this thing back up?
I mean, I think a Sabres retweet, I hate to sound pandering, I really do, but it would be exactly what the doctor ordered for RJ. Let's face it, we know he's popping on Instagram as he shared that one meme where he was telling Jack Eichel to hold his beer. But Rick just needs a Sabres retweet. He needs a Sabres he needs something from that Sabres community, and I don't think Sabres buzz alone is going to get it done, unfortunately. So it'll be interesting to see. The other interesting thing to me is that if you're familiar with the internet, when things don't go an internet party's way, they're often looking for reasons, or, something to blame. What is the reason that this isn't working out? So the people who have looked and said that it's over, I saw a hilarious take earlier where they were saying the only reason Josh Allen is going to win this is because there are out-of-town Bills fans now.
Oh, yeah.
And that was my favorite take out of all of them. It's amazing. We have to come up with a reason right now. But yes, very, a little bit crazy things in the Buffalo bracket. We're getting a live update here. We have Josh Allen with 47-29, Rick Degenerate with 36-56. So almost about a 1,000 vote advantage now. Now that they're crossing over that 8,400 vote mark.
Yeah, and hey, you got guys in Sabres Twitter. You got, Chad Dietaminesis and our guy Anthony.
Oh, if Chad and Chandra got behind this, RJ would be back. RJ would be back.
Yeah, where's Jeremy?
I just checked both Twitter accounts. They both haven't touched it. And that is, you're talking about almost 16,000 followers of people. I mean, so this is not over just yet. It's nowhere close, especially, like you said, with all the love we're seeing for RJ today.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then as far as, funny comments, I've seen a few comments like this for Sophie's Choice. Saying this is Sophie's Choice. And then there was one of our followers did up a nice movie poster with Meryl Streep in the middle, RJ on the one side, and Josh Allen on the other. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Wanted to provide the disclaimer here, folks. There will be no gassing. There will be that, it's not that hard of a decision. If you like Josh, you'd vote for Josh. If you like Rick, you vote for Rick. It is definitely a tough decision, though. I mean, tough decision for me. But Al, maybe you can tell the fans, what you're seeing. What your hopes are for this bracket. Maybe even share who you voted for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. This is what we wanted. The bracket was set up. We all knew that Josh Allen was clearly, from that right side of the bracket, going to make it here. And on the left side of the bracket, we had a lot of big matchups that obviously, what we've seen over the past couple of weeks have been crazy. The Transit Drive-In, who's made a couple ridiculous runs the past couple of years. Howard picks the Bills. So
the second round.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. So we set this bracket up to make it very, very competitive this year. And it's not shocking, though, that we got to this final. And is this arguably going to be the craziest final, the closest, this amount of votes, right? I mean, I don't know, but that's what I think. This is exactly what we wanted. RJ's last year with Josh Allen's first time in the bracket.
All I know is the people who are saying it's over right now are the same people who are cashing their UNC money line tickets in the national championship in the first half. We got a lot of game left, baby.
My Jayhawks, baby. Let's go.
Hey, that's a perfect analogy because Josh appears to be running it up, much like UNC was. But, that's why for the championship poll, we do 2 days instead of one, 2 halves instead of one.
Maniac, we got to ask you real quick. What is the live money line right now?
Probably Josh minus 375, I would say. He's definitely pulling away. He's got a touchdown lead at half, and he was a favorite, obviously. But, it's not over. Again, the thing is, this is actually shocking to me is that, Rick hasn't really had any strong second halves. That's the thing. In most of his matchup, he's just kind of blown out to an early lead and cruised. So he's going to need something he hasn't gotten so far in this bracket, which is a strong second half. That's probably the toughest thing standing in the way of an RJ comeback. Yeah, maybe minus 400 now that I'm talking myself into it. But yeah, Josh is definitely a sizable favorite where it would be, or actually, honestly, I would say probably Rick is plus 400. Talking it up. And I'd say Josh is probably closer to minus 750 or something.
We just went from minus 330.
Well, hey, just to be clear, any degenerate knows minus 375 and minus 750 isn't a monstrous difference.
Hey.
Yeah.
Those two, from plus 375 to plus 750 is a bigger difference than minus 375 to minus 750.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, again, if Rick gets back to within 500, I would say all bets are off when you're talking about gambling.
Yep.
Throw the records out, Al.
Throw them out. It's my chalk.
Right out. But, no, I think, well, we're looking at a matchup here for two first-comers to the Buffalo bracket. You know, we've had different iterations of the Bills and the Sabres in the bracket this year, but with RJ's last year, with Josh performing so well in the playoffs yet again, getting us to back-to-back divisional round playoff games and was an overtime rule away from back-to-back AFC championships, you know, you got to give a tip of the cap to both of them for convincingly getting their way to the final like they did. You know, a lot of other teams, people making noise, you know, there were two other newcomers and one other that want to kind of give a tip of the cap to, if we will. First and foremost, you guys might both be shocked by this, but Transit Drive-In, who has been as scrappy, as tenacious as ever in the bracket with their promotion of themselves, coming up with the creative, you know, it may be questionably ethical way of getting to the finals and winning the whole thing last year with the Facebook story about the AM radio tower. You know, they, even for someone like them who's been heavily involved with the bracket in the 3 years they've been in it, even they gave a tip of the cap to RJ and basically said, you know, vote for RJ in so many words. West Seneca Police did the same thing after knocking off Chicken Wings this year, a newcomer into the bracket. They'll definitely be back. And another, Brother Bill, you know, Buffalo's favorite brother. He did not accomplish his losing 100-0 feat when it came to Josh Allen in the Final Four. I think he lost by a 94-6 margin. And, you know, maybe like Billy Madison, he's taking down some names on his wall of people he's going to block once he finds out that they voted for Josh, or for him instead of Josh, rather. But, seeing him in the Elite Eight, I think some of the most fun and some of the funniest moments of the bracket, boys, was seeing Brother Bill so adamant about beating Wegmans that he showed up to Wegmans, Maniac, that night to expose them for votes, and he claims that he still walked out of there spending $40. Could you believe it?
He went on a one-man smear campaign against Wegmans. Wegmans hasn't been beat that bad since Danny Wegman was in, grammar school on the schoolyard. But it was very interesting. Again, Brother Bill. The thing about Brother Bill and why he's in the bracket, why his content is he just goes 100% into it. It's not like even really a shtick. It's just his life, and it seems like it's his goal to just do the craziest thing. And people love to watch him do the craziest thing. And a lot of times it is hysterical. A lot of times the references are unbelievable. And that's why he's at where he's at. And that's why he'll likely, barring an unforeseen craziness, be a player in the 2023 Buffalo bracket. The other thing we were talking about as a reflection of the bracket, potential Twitter play-in next year, a little play-in tournament maybe in early March. Whispers.
Yeah, it could be some conference play, you know. Who's going to get the automatic bids versus, you know, who might have to play in the first four for their matchup, a la the actual NCAA. Al, what do you think about that?
I mean, I'm just hoping. I was going to say music on me, but that's just that joke.
I was going to say conference play-in sounds like music on me to me.
Yeah.
I mean, Brother Bill, next year, you could put him at what, at 2, 3 and tops?
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe.
I hate to say it on live on Trainwreck Tonight 240 or sponsored by Outlet Liquor on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. They win the Super Bowl. The content's probably going to be out of this world. It's probably going to be another big year for Brother Bill.
Oh my God.
Probably going to be a higher spot in the bracket, I would say it to say. Like, we could be looking at a situation next year where there are like 3 to 4 Bills in this bracket. There could be McDermott. It could be Bean in this bracket after this offseason.
Wow.
This offseason's been tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could be Von Miller. Could be future Super Bowl MVP Von Miller. Could be could be anybody. Could be anybody.
Well, what were you going to say? What were you going to say? Come on. Spit it out.
I was gonna say the reason I laughed is just because I'm thinking about Al talking about how everybody's on Super Bowl deals.
Oh yeah.
Super Bowl deals is a
Yeah, like it could be anybody on a Super Bowl deal making a play.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's the beauty of the Buffalo bracket, folks. I mean, we don't know what it's going to shake out to be next year, but it could be anything.
Like,
Really.
here's a hypothetical. If Isaiah Hodgins, like we saw Gabe Davis go off for 4 touchdowns because he had an amazing matchup against the Chiefs, Knox and, Beasley and Diggs taking all the defenders and everything like that, et cetera, et cetera. If Isaiah Hodgins has a game-winning catch in the Super Bowl for the Buffalo Bills, is he not in Buffalo bracket 2023?
I mean, you'd have to be.
Again, anyone is just a play away. Anyone is just a play away.
That's right. And I mean, hey, listen, for all the folks out there voting for RJ, because it's his last year, what if, I don't know. There could be future brackets. I don't know what type of longevity RJ has, but if the Sabres were to miraculously make the playoffs next year and RJ comes back to call the playoffs, he could be in the 2024 bracket. It might not be the end of the road for RJ, and it might not be dominance for Josh Allen the way that we think it will be. Anything can happen, folks, and it's way too early to speculate on seeding with the bracket for 2022 not wrapped up. We'll leave the 2023 seeding to next spring. But it has been a thrill, to say the least. And I think we're going to go here. We're going to cut to a little live update.
Oh.
So here we go. We have
basically 57-43 now by Twitter's math.
Yep, by the roundup math of Twitter. We'll get this loaded up here, hopefully, shortly.
No matter what you do, don't look at Supreme's favorites bar.
Well, it's not the number of tabs.
It's not as bad as my tabs that are currently open.
Oh, my favorites. There's nothing of consequence.
I'm joking.
Is it KanyeWest.com?
Kanye.
Wait, is that Yeezy Drop 2023?
Come on, guys. We got a special project coming. No, as you can see here, folks, 2022 championship. We have almost 8,500 votes cast. As mentioned before, we're pacing. The sky's the limit. This thing has been going nuts all day. I feel like we're going to be comfortably in 5 figures for the total number of votes, especially, tomorrow into tomorrow afternoon. And then, ultimately the poll is going to wrap up Wednesday at around noon because this was posted at 12:03 p.m. So on April 13th at 12:03 p.m., that's when this wraps. So we still have another full day and then Wednesday morning to see where the votes come in. It's been a lot of people quietly voting for Josh. A lot of people rallying support for Rick, but we've yet to see that big splash for, a big Sabres media member, the Sabres themselves. I mean, this thing could get pretty crazy. Imagine, like, for all the people who are saying it's over, if the Sabres were to retweet this, what do you think is going to happen? On the flip side, in a parallel universe where Josh Allen gives us a quote tweet and says vote, period, what do you think is going to happen there? So
I was going to say, I think there's three potential bomb possibilities. Sabres or Bills, talking about like this is a tough decision, or the Josh Allen quote tweet with "Gotta vote RJ."
Yeah, right. Yeah, he can give it to RJ himself.
Let's face it, Josh Allen is a Buffalo guy, just like Lindy Ruff is when he says, perfect Buffalo weekend is a Sabres game Saturday and a Bills game Sunday. Josh knows that would be a perfect response. So if he ever was going to respond, I feel like that's what he would do.
Yeah. I think that it would either be that or it would just be the simple vote, period, given his recent chime-ins on Twitter of,
oh, yeah, true. He is a minimalist.
No, previously, or yes.
Yes.
And then no before that. He's a man of few words, but he is certainly our Josh Allen. So, hey, cast your votes, folks. If you haven't voted yet, this is the only little sneak peek you'll get because you got to vote to see the results. And I mean, it's been, needless to say, it's been our biggest Buffalo bracket ever. Thanks to all of our followers, thanks to all the fans out there, and especially thanks to Outlet Liquor, the place to buy a case. Al, what's your outlet? Could it be the Masters?
This past weekend was a blast. Masters weekend. You had opening day Thursday. You had a huge UFC card on Saturday night. I know people were tuning into F1. There was NASCAR Saturday night, whatever you enjoy. But yeah, it was one hell of a sports weekend once again. And the Masters, it was weird because I got a lot of guys that bet on golf and send me their plays going into the week, and not a single person said Scotty Scheffler. And he is arguably the hottest person in golf right now with what he's done prior to
It just
the
never
Masters.
works that way, right? Like,
No.
I mean, like maybe they win a couple tournaments there, but not like coming in winning like 2 of their last 4. Like, that's just absurd. And him and Smith were both doing that, and they both were the top guys that finished. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just not a single person that I talked to was on Scotty Scheffler pre-tournament. And you know what? It got close yesterday. It really did.
I am in shock because he was literally those first 4 to 5 holes, even with the hole out on 3, was hitting it all the fuck over the place. Like, I could not believe that he got that sorted out, and obviously got help that was right around the time that Cam doubled on 12 or whatever. But it's always easier when you see somebody messing up. It lets you take a little breath. But like, I could not believe with how bad he did get. Like, on that 3rd hole, he got like a relief that kind of moved out of the scoreboard. Even a shit that small in golf can just be like, oh, I really avoided one there. It's crazy.
At the party I was at yesterday, I kept saying it, guys. Even though it's a 3 to 4 stroke lead halfway through, Xander Schauffele was down like 6 through
Matsuyama was minus 100,000.
Yeah,
on the 9th hole, and then after he did that, he was down to minus 1667.
Yeah,
so that's like a monstrous downfall.
Oh, that's insane.
That's what I'm saying. Like Xander Schauffele, if he didn't collapse like he did on 16 and 17 last year, had a chance to beat Matsuyama. So I kept trying to tell the room, guys, it's not over yet. It takes one hole for someone to double. And
it takes one double and a birdie. The golf shifts. Again, I think I told you this a week or 2 ago. It's really nothing's ever settled until you're like at least halfway into the back 9 on day 4. Like acting like anything is set in place before that is crazy.
Look at Scheffler on 18 putting.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
But Homo was right though, dude. At that point, he should have just like 6 putted and just like won it by 1. Like, it would have been hysterical.
Oh, like just purposely tapped it.
Yeah, like purposely did like a little tap. Like, that would have been so funny.
There. Yeah, give Rory that slight little chance. But yeah, I mean, well, much to your point, Alex, and Maniac, you never know what's going to happen. And with Rory playing out of control yesterday compared to Scheffler was hitting it all over the place. Rory was lights out. And, you know, what if Scheffler goes into the drink instead of Cam Smith on 12? It could have been a lot different. Could have been talking about a playoff. So, yeah
100%.
It was incredible.
There's something to be said when you're out of it in golf, it's never easier to play better. And when you're at the top of the scoreboard in golf, it's never harder.
Yeah. Well, that was crazy. And seeing him in the in the green jacket ceremony, you know, he had everybody in the clubhouse, and Scheffler said something about like how like he was glad that he goofed up all those putts at the end on 18 so that he wasn't so emotional when he was talking to Nance. It was so funny, you know, just the human aspect of it, where he was probably like, even he was like, you know, I can't believe I just missed all these putts.
When he missed that second one from like inside 3 feet, like he gave a look that was almost out of like a movie, like someone doing it, like, you know, like, oh my God. That's probably why he wasn't fucking around. Like, he probably was like literally in shock.
And then like, can you imagine if he misses that next one?
Yeah. He probably that's probably why he wasn't messing around.
Oh yeah.
And even in his comments after to his wife, he's like, I don't know if I'm like ready for this. Like, so clearly he was just going crazy. Yes.
Yeah, it was and with Scheffler, I mean, we know from Goodwin that Scotty is such a great name to shout out. You know, it's a great name to scream, and everybody after he was, Scotty, you know, like right, like everybody was going nuts before he hit that, like, you know, Masters winning putt ultimately on 18. But I was thinking that to myself the whole time. I'm like, man, what a great name to just shout out on a golf course. And shout out to everybody yelling out "Go Bills" out at Augusta National as well. Bills Mafia is everywhere.
That's crazy. And with Scotty Scheffler though too, he's just so like, to me it's weird. Like, I don't love him, but I don't hate him either. Like, I wasn't like rooting against him. He's just so cool, calm, and collected. Like, it's just I don't know, right? Like, you don't get that. Like,
He's
I love
very
him vibe.
Johnny Everyman, where he's not doing it. He's not acting eccentric. He's so young. He hasn't acted like a douche or anything yet. Like, they were showing on the Corn Ferry or whatever, like 3 years ago. He was playing with 8 different brands in his bag.
Wow,
absurd.
That's nuts.
He'll probably never do that again in his life.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, like golf is not typically the place where you get a juicy soundbite, but you see someone like Cam Smith, who, you know, was I couldn't help but pull for him all day yesterday, and just like, oh, come on, just get like a stroke away or something. Let's go down to the wire here.
Yep.
And after he made the mistake on 12, you know, you heard him after the tournament, you know, nothing but class out of the guy. You know, obviously he has a great Australian accent, always fun to listen to, but nothing but class. And it's easy to root for these guys because he didn't it's devastating to do something like that in such a big moment and cost yourself an opportunity to win the Masters. But he like was fully confident that he'd be back there. So, you know, it's cool to see from those guys where they're all pretty young. Like what, Scheffler is 24, 25. Like he could be doing that for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And he's won 4 out of 6 now, and he won my Waste Management Open. And now he's just rolling that into this. He's won what I think I saw it was 4 tournaments in 57 days, and most recent of which is the Masters.
It's insane.
Not
it
a big
really
deal.
is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Not a big deal.
You know what? Next big future? What? Tiger 40-1 at the PGA Championship?
Is that what he is?
Yeah.
Bro, he was looking like he'll be back to compete in majors starting next year for sure.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. So obviously it was great to see him out there. Just to be clear, I ran late on Sunday. I went to the creek and I hammered John Rahm head to head against Tiger Woods on Sunday. He was limping. He could barely like move on Sunday.
Oh my
Did you
God.
see him?
Yeah.
What'd you get that at?
So here's the deal. I got him at minus 300 when I got there because he was already up a stroke early. So he's minus 300. So then what I did was I put in 2 bets and with parlays, and I bet him Rahm on the money line, holes 13 through 15 and 16 through 18 was even to beat Tiger on those holes. Wow. So to tie, like it had like decent odds, and Tiger was a huge long shot. So I got him on both those. But like, yeah, that's a bet. Looking back on it, that was obvious. Like I love Tiger and I love seeing him do good. I love seeing him do well. I love seeing him play great like he was on Thursday. He was like not even like walk yesterday.
Bro, he was 21 shots back, and CBS was still covering him or whatever.
Yes.
He was still. He was.
It's amazing. Like I don't think any as a golfer ever had an accident like that or anything and come back like in such a short time period.
No.
They were saying he was like winded 3 weeks ago when he was playing with a cart.
Yeah,
that's insane.
So now he's walking Augusta, which I guess they're saying is like the hilliest of them all.
Yep.
Lots of undulation.
And I gotta ask real quick, Maniac, like in 2 sentences, 3 or less, whatever.
Yeah.
Tell the people, because I get people that still ask me, Al, why do you still go to the creek? Why do you still go to the creek every once in a while? Just your answer.
1, it keeps you honest.
Thank you.
Going there is like a mental set, like especially for you. Like you're a little bit like you're probably double the drive I am. Again, we're not trying to give away our locations, even though a lot of people know where Studio D's at. That, and then the other thing is just the atmosphere. It's kind of cool to like see, like, even if it's at a degenerate hour, like someone getting excited about playing a slot or seeing people place bets, like it's electric. I think
the biggest thing that it definitely keeps you honest. You know, you
keeps you honest. Being able to fire anything in, anything can happen when you can digitally, like, when you have to put the money in or you have to scan something, everything is a little bit more responsible. And part 2 for me is futures, obviously. People a lot more fun. A lot more fun to track a paper than a digital like slip. Yeah, and I'm sorry, my OCD, I can't have that sitting in my open for 10 months. Like it's just not happening. That's true. Not fun. I'm not leaving that there when I'm trying to scroll through that. So
you'll keep it in a folder.
Pending.
Out at a different time.
Yeah. No.
Honest electricity, folks. Get to the creek.
Yep.
So yeah.
Oh, and real quick, shout out sign offs. Why are the NHL playoffs so much later than the NBA this year?
Because there's so many COVID delays in the NHL. because so they had to push back like 8 games. That's why the Sabres are playing 4 games a week right now.
Yep.
Oh, I'm thinking
Sabres literally played 4 games last week. They're gonna play 4 games this week again.
Yeah,
Again, it's not
a lot of
like
teams miss time back in the
crazy,
winter,
but
right?
4 games a week is a lot.
because NHL always starts a week
Yeah.
before.
NHL always or they start like the same time. Yes, they start much closer to like the same date. Then yes, and that's why they were talking about it. The NHL had to go 2 more weeks because a couple of teams got shut down.
So now the Stanley Cup is going to be after the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's gonna be like in late June. Might be a July 4th Game 7 Stanley Cup party.
Oh, give me the Avs hoisting it.
Oh man.
Do you have them?
Yeah, with the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a go. What is that? Like 30-1?
What do you mean? Like, oh,
what is that generating you?
Let me keep talking.
Well, we figure out.
Well, I got that quick
we
shout
can
out
say.
to new UB women's head coach Becky Burke.
Yes.
She is
That was
pretty
awesome.
crazy. And so you know what? And here was the thing that I know that everyone was busy on Friday, so it was tough or Thursday, later last week when she did her intro. It was Friday. If the one thing that the messaging was clear, and this is not like, it's not a good thing to say, but it's going to be different than Coach Jack. There's no replacing a Coach Jack. So that was the clear thing that she got across in her messaging that I thought was really good. Because if you're coming in, the last thing you want to do is, you're going to be compared to her anyway, so you might as well just say right out of the gate. It's going to be a different regime. Things are going to be happening differently. But I'll tell you what, the enthusiasm and the intensity might as well be exactly the same. So very exciting.
And that's what UB needed to do.
Yes.
You couldn't go from Jack to someone who just doesn't bring it like that. And yeah, like the videos you were posting, some of the stuff that I saw on Twitter, her banging that 3.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
good stuff.
she's loving it.
Yeah.
She's loving it.
Yep.
32. Crazy.
Wow.
Nice. Well, she could be here for a long time.
Yep. Time to start a dynasty. Make a
Another
lit night
one.
full of banners.
That's right.
Avs Bills currently 35-1.
Oh, that's great. The Avs are a heavy
done.
favorite.
But it's I mean, you can get another team probably what? I mean, if you take the Avs out of there and roll with somebody else.
What about the Nets as a play? I wanted to tell you, it was 9-1. They were like 3.5-1 before the season, right?
Yeah, I thought they were like plus 250.
Yes, you're getting a great price, and Kyrie and Durant are like playing together for the first time, like kind of.
Yeah, Bills Nets right now, it's 63-1.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do
All right,
too.
folks. Speaking of loving it, make sure you're following Trainwreck on all platforms: Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Get it all. We got Happy Hour Hoops breaking down all of the NBA playoffs. 2 goalies, 1 mic with the upcoming NHL action, of course. Crossing swords with all your Sabres stuff, and keep an eye out as the crowd looks to assist.
Yeah. I mean, we always say this train never stops. These sports never stop. There's so much still coming. It's April. And guys, what else? Something
Next
that we
week.
love.
Next
I was
week.
gonna say, something
Wave
that we love.
reviews.
Yeah, we love
That's
to eat in
right. Season
Buffalo.
4.
Season freaking 4. Not be more
That's
excited for
gonna be
that.
my quick shout out to producer Don for, I mean, folks, these are going to be the best looking, the best sounding wing reviews we've ever done. We got a full season coming up right around the corner. We go, as you said, Al, I mean, the sports never stop, but we go straight from the Buffalo bracket into season 4 wing reviews, from a Trainwreck Sports perspective.
Yep.
What more could you ask for, folks? I mean, the weather is perking up. The Bisons are back. Big shout out to our guest a couple weeks ago, Pat Malacaro. Other half is open down right across from the ballpark.
Oh,
See Ty B and get hooked up over there with a tasty beverage before you go watch the Bisons play. I mean, there's so much to look forward to. It's spring. It's a great time of year. Everything's coming. It's that feeling of being back. Everything's coming back, and especially with this year versus years past. I don't want to speak too soon. Anything could happen, but it's shaping up to be a phenomenal spring.
hey, and it's Maniac's spring. 75 and sunny. No, and it looks like rain. 75 degrees on Wednesday.
Beautiful days so far. Shout out to spring. Let's go.
Low of 32 next Monday.
Oh, jeez.
My leaves on the trees. Get them back. Let's go.
We could have been somebody. Folks, all right, let's light this candle. Make sure you're following, make sure you're telling, make sure you're checking everything out because it never stops. Han Solo here, shout out Supreme and Al, folks, because you know this train never stops. And of course, have a good night now.